that they're also being manipulated in a lot of ways too. You know, I think the Major League Baseball and NFL and NHL and WNBA, I think there's a lot of pressure on these organizations to kind of bend the knee, pardon the pun, to make sure that so they can kind of come across, hey guys, we're cool, right? We're cool, right?
That's so true. I do not think everybody that's kneeling down really agree what they're kneeling down for. I don't think so. I think there's so much pressure on you. You feel like you have to do it now. You know what I mean? If you don't, then that's bad. Standing up for the flag is now a bad thing. How about that, right? And maybe every single team you see, there's probably one or two standing up. You know what I mean? I applaud them. I don't think these people who had the little black squares, these celebrities, Hollywood, they was using that same hashtag Black Lives Matter thing, right? So it's kind of became pressure for these sports, Hollywood, to make you feel like you have to support the cause. Not supporting it means you're a racist.
Hello everybody, my name is Kyle and welcome to the channel, and this is The Conservative Take. If this is your first time here, please consider hitting the like and subscribe button and the bell icon so you don't miss any featured content. And this video, as you saw in the introduction, I have my friend here, Mr. Dominique, the Black Trumper from Parler. He's a social guy. He's doing a lot of cool things, and we're going to talk to him about many, many, many things. And so I'm going to bring him on right now. Dominique, how are you doing?
Good, great, awesome.
Awesome. So I saw your information on Parler. There was a big thing back a few weeks ago when Donald Trump had his tweets removed from Twitter, and all of a sudden everyone flocked to Parler. Yeah. And lo and behold, I found you there. I was looking for conservatives across the board. I saw yours out there, and you were at like 8,000 subscribers, and you only been on for like a month.
So, yeah.
Can you tell us about that a little bit? How did you? And it's not like you're following a lot of people. You only like following a couple hundred people, but I guess people found you, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. So, it was like a month ago, right? And I was on Twitter at the time. I think hashtag Parler was like number 3, and I was on Gab first. I don't even know what Gab is, but it's basically the same thing Parler is, right? So I was like, "What is Parler? What is that?" I had no idea what it was. Never heard of it before, and found out the free speech app, social media, never heard of it. So I made an account, and I think within minutes, I found out about verification, how you verify. I was like, driver's license, I don't know about that. But I did it. So, Dan Bongino? He got like 1.1 million followers now. He's like, okay.
Yeah.
So, right. So, when I signed on there, he had like 600,000 at the time, right? And he commented something, and I'm like, yeah, you're right. Just agreeing with him. And think I ate some dinner. It was at nighttime, and I came back and checked the comment. Within like 10 minutes, they had like 50 likes. I was like, what? What is that? So
Dan Bongino commented on your post?
No, he didn't comment. He commented. He made a post, and I commented under his.
Oh, I see.
Yes, it just within like 10 minutes had like 50 likes on it. And I was like, wow, that's awesome. And I commented something else. And then my first comment had like 100 and then 200. And I was like number 1 at his comment section. And he had like 400 comments. I was number 1. I was like, oh, and that scared me, right? So I think I went to work one night because I'm working healthcare. Went to my nursing home job. And I had like had him between 3 hours. I had like 300 followers, right? Wow. This is with no post. I didn't post anything. This is the same day. And I'm like, what is going on with my profile? And I went my notifications. It was every second, somebody's following me, somebody's following me, somebody's following me. I was like, what is this? So I put, hey everybody, I'm happy to be here. My first time on this app, how are everybody doing? Something like that, some introduction. And that ended up, I think right now it has like 800 upvotes.
Really? 800 upvotes? That's incredible.
Yes. So I got off that morning around 7 o'clock. I went to bed. I woke up at, I think, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I slept about 8 hours, and I had 2,000 followers just within hours. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. Yeah. I honestly say I didn't do anything particular. The people just came to me, right?
Yeah.
And I was trying to follow everybody who followed me, but it became so annoying because it was so many people, so I just stopped. So it just grew on its own, and I started posting my own content. That started, building, and it started building, and it started building. So yeah, that's
Well,
how it happened. It kind of happened on its own, I guess.
that's fantastic. So you were on Gab. I'm familiar with Gab. It's one of those share type tier apps, kind of like
Right.
BitChute. Like it's on. I forget the it's on some sort of different level in terms of like
Yeah.
infrastructure. It's like a shareware kind of deal where it's like it's
Exactly.
collaborating.
Exactly. So it's way different than Parler actually. It's basically you basically just put out your own stuff. There's groups you can be in, but you basically just put out whatever on your mind. It's not so political like Parler is. It's basically any idea, you know what I mean? Anything you want. So, but it definitely wasn't as big as Parler was. It didn't have that many followers on there. So I think I had when I left, I think I had 20 followers, I think, something like that. I ain't been on in a while, but when I found Parler, I just stopped Gap.
Yeah, sounds like to me that you caught Parler right when it was about to blow up. Yeah, and then I think your handle was good, and your image with the hat and your cover art with the Trump hats, whatever. I think people at that time, people were just so fed up. They were just looking for people to join.
That's so true. And I tell people I caught a wave. You know what I mean? I caught a wave. I caught when it became this huge thing, Is when it was on Twitter, it was trending on Facebook, and that's what I made my account. So I think when everybody coming at one time, I was just one of those people who, caught the little the spotlight. So you're right. I think and I was kind of debating should I put the hat on, but I'm like, let me put the hat on. My handle was Black Trumper on Gab, so I just took that Gab username, put it on there, and people liked it. They say it flows pretty good, so I kept it. I was gonna change it, but I kept it.
Nah, I think it's great. The red hat is a makes a statement. The red Trump hat makes a statement, and so let me get some of that because obviously, and you were like myself. We're both black Americans, and we're both conservatives. We're both Trump supporters. So let's deal with the elephant in the room, okay?
Okay.
So what was it like? I mean, so I read your profile. Can you talk to me a little about how you made a transition? Because I don't think you were always a conservative. You made a transition in your life. Can you talk about your walk away story, if that's a good way to ask?
It was the same of most. I wasn't always on Team Red. I was a Team Blue for a while, and actually it was in that rally in Michigan when Trump had the infamous "What does black people have to lose?" comment, right?
You were there?
I was watching it on TV. I was at work, but I was watching. I think it was a flashback clip. I think he did earlier today, but I was watching it at work, and everybody was like, "What is wrong with this guy? What is wrong with this guy?" And I would just sit back in my chair, like, "Yeah, he might got a point," I kept it quiet through the entire election. I kept it quiet, kept it for my family. I just kept it quiet, but I did vote for him. You know what I mean? I went by myself because usually my family goes as a group. It was like a group thing, but I went by myself that time, right? Because I needed to do it on my own. You know what I mean? So,
yes,
yeah, it was a secret. I would say that it was a secret, and it's still to some people, but I think sounds weird, but I came out to some people,
So it sounds like to me that you've always had tendencies or leanings that way. It wasn't like it was a big aha moment. Maybe it's just you're just smarter than most of us, right?
Smarter than no.
I'm not being funny. I mean, because I was pretty dumb, frankly. I had to see 9/11 happen before I realized that what was happening wasn't really what I was thinking was happening. You know?
Yeah.
People just they put things together. They say, "Oh, that doesn't make sense." Like Thomas Sowell. Thomas Sowell is conservative, and he basically said, "Look, he was a leftist, a socialist, and he saw one thing that the EPA wasn't doing for him, and he said, okay, that makes no sense. I'm now a conservative now." It was like night and day because he realized that they weren't coming with the right information.
That's basically how it was. It was kind of it. Well, I'll say this: it took some time for me to grow on Trump. Okay, it wasn't immediate. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But when I did, that was it. Like I was like, okay, this is it. You know what I mean? And I knew I could change my mind, but it took a while. I mean, before 2015, I wouldn't imagine honestly voting on Team Red, but I did. It took a while, but I did. He had to grow on me because I was kind of sketchy about him first. You know what I mean? Because he was so.
Oh yeah.
He was just so not average in every way. The way he talked, the way he does interviews. You know what I mean? His demeanor. It was different, and nobody was used to it. I wasn't used to it. But I had to hear his message and not see all the mask that he puts on. You know what I mean? I just had to hear what he was saying. That was important. You know what I mean? Just what was he going to do? And he wasn't afraid to say. I remember one time he just said in a rally, he said, "The American dream is dead." I was like, "Holy crap! I can't believe you just said that. That's scary." But it was true. You know what I mean? I never heard nobody say that before, and that totally threw me off, but in a good way. So I think he was the only one, in my opinion, that didn't try to be political. He didn't try to be perfect. He just said what was on his mind, no matter how it came out. You know what I mean?
Yes. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I totally understand that. And do you find that a lot of people in your family, in your inner circle, have a hard time dealing with your? Or they just leave you alone?
No. Because sometimes I bring it up, but they, I mean, they don't nag me about it. There's no negativity. I don't think I agree with it, but that's fine. You know what I mean? You can not agree. That's okay with me. You know what I mean? It's not like you're stupid. You know what you're talking about. You know, it's nothing like that. They just don't all agree to everything I have to say. And that's cool. I don't mind that.
That's good because a lot of people. I'm asking questions that a lot of the times the people in my audience are going to want to know. So it may not sound right to you, but I know people are thinking this. I'm going to say those kind of things because people think that as Black conservatives that we just catch it all the time in our families, and that's not true. With my family, we just don't talk about it. You know, we just don't talk. You know, so.
And I think the reason it gets brought up because my family does watch the news, but they're the CNN type. Like they don't watch MSNBC. They don't watch the Today Show, CBS. They're just CNN because they know that catches their thought. You know, at the time I was watching all cable news. You know what I mean? So we did have during the election, we did kind of talk about it some. You know what I mean? I was always kind of all over here and all was over here, and I was kind of by myself. You know what I mean? But it was like I said, it wasn't attacking me, nothing like that. You know what I mean? But we just disagree. Yeah.
Well, concerning the election in 2020 coming up, do you think there's any tendency at all for people in your circle to even think about moving that way, or not voting at all because they don't like Biden, or they all gung ho Biden? Is there you have a feeling what they're on in your circle?
They hate Trump so much they're gonna vote for Biden just so he won't get elected. Like they don't even like Biden that way. They don't even probably know policies that he even putting forth. They just don't like Trump so much that they're gonna vote for him. They're gonna vote for Biden just so Trump won't get an election. You know what I mean? And that's the problem. Some people are not willing to listen. You know, you don't have to agree, but just listen to something, you know, that's opposing your viewpoint. And I don't think they're willing to do that. So I just think they're just going to go Biden.
Yeah, I think that's the thing too. I think people are so amped up in anger and frustration, and that's a whole other issue in and of itself. We can get into that if you like. But so in terms of that, so what do you think in terms of like just we think the biggest hindrance is for Black conservatives or for just the American people to try and get out of that thing where they feel like their views aren't being. There's a poll that came out recently that said that people are afraid to share their views, and it's like 64% of Americans just are afraid to share their views. What do you think is the hindrance for that? Do you think there's a way that we can come out of that and maybe get to a point where we can actually come together and maybe share ideas like we did once in a while? Because if we can't talk to each other, there's no way this country is going to be successful.
Yeah. that's the individual problem. You're gonna have to be willing to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're gonna have to literally be willing to do that, and that takes like inner strength to do something like that. You know what I mean? The
Yes.
people are scared because reaction. What reaction you're gonna get? You know what I mean? Like I said, I've seen people. I talked to somebody on the phone recently. Some people gets kicked out their home. Some people gets beat up. Some and sometimes it's not worth it. Sometimes it's better to just keep it to yourself than just put it all out there and then have a bad reaction to it. You know what I mean? Like that guy Burnell Trammell got killed in Milwaukee because he had he was. And when you see stuff like that, it just that what makes you not want to tell people. That makes you not want to share. That makes you not want to communicate. You see what I'm saying? I had that same feeling.
Yeah, I think right now with the climate the way it is, so volatile and so dangerous right now, I think it's just you have to be around
scary.
Yeah, you have to be careful with your surroundings. That's a good segue into what I'll talk about next. Is I want to talk about basically Black Lives Matter and talk about the position on this channel is that Black Lives Matter, whether you believe in the organization or not, at some point in time, I have to believe that they thought that they were doing what's best interest in Black people. But at some point in time, I think they got hijacked by another group that doesn't like America, and they want to use them to get their further agenda.
Right.
What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Okay. So years ago, when Michael Brown happened, that's the earliest time I can remember when it started. Right. It was just strict. It was very strict. It was telling police officers treat us equally. None of the it was about Black people, Black lives at that time. You know what I mean? That's what it was. Okay. There was marching, yes. There was a little bit of violence. Yes, throwing stuff at the cops, stuff like that. I don't know when it happened, but I know now, 2020, this Antifa group, it made a perfect storm. Okay. Now the message is dead. You know what I mean? The message is dead, and it's not what it used. I used to be for it, honestly, back years ago when it came out, and I read what it was about. I was like, yeah, sure, that's true. It's just not that. It's not that. I think with Antifa, which is a bunch of far left college dropouts plus a Black Lives Matter group, and they come together, it just made a perfect storm. And when George Floyd happened, it just took it to a whole new level. And I just think it became way bigger than anybody would expect. So
yeah, a powder keg, right? Just exploded. So I think you nailed it right there, where you have a situation with a underlying of people who felt like they were being disenfranchised. And another group that saw that and took advantage of it, in my opinion, because they are doing stuff anyway with Occupy Wall Street. That already been going on prior to that. So they just, like you said, came together at a time. And that George Floyd video, I mean, the optics on that tape are just incredibly sad. Yeah. And, the outrage, I mean, understandably so. It's like, so I guess I want to understand is that, white America, I think what's happening with them is they're also being manipulated in a lot of ways too. I think the Major League Baseball and NFL and NHL and WNBA, I think there's a lot of pressure on these organizations to kind of bend the knee, pardon the pun, to make sure that so that they can kind of come across, hey guys, we're cool, right? We're cool, right?
That's so true. I do not think everybody that's kneeling down really agree what they're kneeling down for. I don't think so. I think there's so much pressure on it. You feel like you have to do it now. You know what I mean? If you don't, then that's bad. Standing up for the flag is now a bad thing. How about that, right? And maybe every single team you see, there's probably one or two standing up. You know what I mean? I applaud them. I don't think these people who had the little black squares, these celebrities, Hollywood, when Hollywood came in, they was using that same hashtag Black Lives Matter thing, right? So it's kind of became pressure for these sports, Hollywood, to make you feel like you have to support the cause. Not supporting it means you're a racist. It's crazy.
So what do you think the end game is going to be? I mean, what do you think? Right now we have Portland on fire now. We have Minneapolis, I think, has calmed down a little bit. But Seattle, it's got some stuff going on there.
I think Baltimore too, if I'm not mistaken. Seattle, yeah. The end game, I honestly think, because at the end of the day, I honestly do think that people are going to these cities. I don't think all these are city residents. I think people are coming out of states to come in these cities to protest. I honestly think that. I kind of thought these super cops, I call them super cops, they're just the federal officer that General Barr put in. If he can get like another 200 of those, and I hate to fight violence with violence, but I don't think it's going to stop. Because if it was going to stop, it would have stopped by now. I mean, come on, Minneapolis, calm down.
Yeah, you raised a good point. And I think the American people, if you looked at the polls of last week and Rasmussen, when Trump started to push the feds in, or you called them the super cops coming in, and he even mentioned he would go into Chicago as well. But I think the mayor, Lightfoot, didn't want him to do it. But the fact that he mentioned it, I think people in this country are looking forward to seeing that because they want law and order. And his poll numbers just they went up this past week. So we'll see how it is this Friday. But I think America wants this to stop. They want law and order. And if it takes, like you said, fire with fire, then we're going to have to do that to get that done. Because, I mean, right now they're defunding the cops too.
Yeah, I can't believe they actually did it. I think New York City actually defunded them. That was so crazy to me because I thought it was a joke. It actually worked. And my thing is, can you imagine how many people call the cops a day? And imagine like no cops showing up. Honestly, I mean, you can cut salaries. I mean, if you're gonna cut people hourly pay, who's gonna want to work? You're losing your cops. Like, basic common sense tells you that's just not a good idea. You know what I mean? New York City, I mean, come on. They need all the resources they can get. All of them, every department,
I think when people don't understand that cops they do more than just go into buildings with guns drawn. They do traffic stops.
They do a lot.
They do healthcare visits. If grandma is sick, whatever, and you're out of town, you want someone to go check on the welfare check of someone. They do, and that's 90% of the time they do that stuff. Right. So only like 10% of the time are they actually on a call. And when on a call, something actually happens. Maybe a drunk driving call, traffic stop, whatever. But that keeps society going. If there's a storm and there's no traffic light going, who comes? The cops. They're the ones directing traffic.
Yeah.
So I don't think people understand that. And I think what it is I think, unfortunately, what I think it is that I think a lot of these governors and mayors, they're just taking the power and using it for themselves. And by cutting the money, they can divert that funds to something else that they want to do.
Right. That's a lot. That's millions of dollars.
Yeah, and if the people are backing it, then why not do it? If you're so inclined. But then you have Lightfoot now directing the cops, the mayor of Chicago. Is that her name, Lightfoot?
Lightfoot, yeah. Okay. Lori Lightfoot, yeah.
She's having the cops protect her home now.
Yes, I saw that. I saw that yesterday. That made me laugh. That was you know what? I saw another video, and it's a cop saying, "Hey, look, in the city, the cop said that there was a defund the police rally going on, and then the organizer of the defund the cops rally asked the cops for protection, asked them for to protect the rally from people who didn't want to defund the cops. So that to me is crazy. It's insane.
Yeah, I don't think they have their thoughts well thought out. I mean,
not at all.
Occupy Wall Street had no direction whatsoever. And if you see the person on the street with the camera, they ask him, "So what's your thoughts about Occupy Wall Street?" It'll be one thing. And they go to someone else. It'd be something different, which is fine. But there's no clear direction in terms of what the overall movement was. And I think Black Lives Matter has a movement now because they got this list of things they want, but they're so insane. It's like it might as well be nothing.
It's not the message they started off with. This isn't what it was 3-4 years ago. It means a whole different thing. It's just take the cops out. You know what I mean? F the cops. That's basically what I'm getting out of it. And years ago, it wasn't that message, but now you have what it is now. You have sports involved. You have billionaires involved. You have Hollywood involved. You have Antifa involved, and it just diluted, you know.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, right. I mean, everything's changed today, right?
yeah.
Everything's changed, you know. And like I said, one of the reasons why this channel, I'm like a broken record. I say this all the time. This channel is built for culture, TV, movies, filtered right, and expansive politics and other things too. But I was just watching Star Wars, dude, and I was just getting upset. I was watching Star Trek. I was getting upset. I watched a TV show that I loved. I'm getting upset because why? Because they're putting social justice narratives into a story that don't fit. It doesn't fit.
Right.
And here's why it's so messed up. People say, "Well, Kyle, you just approved." No, here's the reason. The reason is because if you know the narrative, then if there's a character in that particular show that's of a certain persuasion, type, gender, whatever, you know for a fact they're going to behave a certain way.
Right.
The twist is gone. If it's a black person, you know they're going to be the good guy in the end, no matter what. You know, it's like, so there's no suspense because you know for a fact that's what it's going to do. So it sacrifices the story because you know they're just in there because there's color of their skin, and so it made suspension of belief much harder, and it was insulting my intelligence. And so for you, I'm asking a question. The question for you is there anything going on right now in your life that's changed so radically over the past 3 or 4 years that you no longer enjoy it?
Movies. That's it. Music. I think, and everything is just so political. Everything's trying to make a point. Every move. If there's a movie without a strong black person in there or a lead black person, then the movie's racist. You remember Oscar So White? You remember that? And then they had with Chris Rock. Chris Rock hosted it. You know.
Oh my gosh! Dude.
Yeah, everything is just be political. Has something with black or white. That's basically what people are trying to put in film now, right? So
let's talk about that so much. Let's talk about that a little bit because I don't get a chance to talk about movies that much, especially on calls like this, because most people want to talk about other things. But let's talk about movies a little bit. Let's talk about what's the gentleman's name? He was the comedian. He the black comedian. I'm drawing a blank. Is short. He was going to be the host of the Oscars. Kevin Hart. Thank you so much. Do you know Kevin Hart?
He refused to apologize for that thing he did. Yeah, I remember that.
Do you know Kevin Hart's dream was to host the Oscars?
Yes.
I mean, it's almost it's hard not to get emotional. And I don't mind wearing my emotions on the sleeve, even in front of everybody. I don't care because here's a guy who had no chance of being famous. He's like this high, right?
Yep.
Can you imagine challenges? Yeah. The challenges that Chris, I'm sorry, what's his name? Kevin. I'm ready for that. Kevin. I'm thinking Chris. I'm thinking Chris Rock. All right.
Yeah.
The things that help me out. Give us the name again. Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart. Yeah.
I'm at that out. The things that Kevin Hart had to go through to get to where he was, and to dream that big to be the Oscar host, and to have it right there in front of him.
Yeah.
Have the acceptance there.
I can't imagine.
Everything there, have the ads, the promos, the billboards, the commercials, all that stuff. And to have someone go back, a social justice warrior, to go back 30 years, I don't know how long it was, find a off-color joke of something on Twitter, he's a comedian, people, and then all of a sudden cancel him, that to me broke my heart. It did. Yeah. And that's why his next movie went crazy. It's the one he had the role with. The next movie he did went like nuts because people were trying to give him support. So
yeah, the thing with that was what was really messed up about it. He did apologize just on Twitter. He apologized way back when. So when he got the Oscar, when he got told he was going to do the Oscars, somebody brought it up again. It became viral at the time. You know what I mean? And people was like, well, he said this, see this, he said this, see this, he said that. And he made a video saying, hey, look, like I apologized already. You know what I mean? I think this was in the midst of what's his name? What's his name?
Epstein?
Nuh-uh, the other guy. I can't remember his name. The Me Too movement. He started all that because he was doing all.
Oh, Kevin Spacey.
Who?
Kevin Spacey.
No. Another guy. He's the biggest one. The very, very big one. Harvey Weinstein. Okay, so this is the miss. Yeah.
Sorry.
So this is Mr. Harvey Weinstein. So
Yeah,
so you have that comment, the Me Too movement, LGBT movement, all that together. You know, he's faced with that. He said, "I already apologized about that. I'm not going to apologize again." Right. And then I think, you know, whoever was controlling Oscars at that time kind of put the pressure on him, told him to apologize. He refused it. He got lost. So that whole thing was messed up.
Yeah, we saw that left and right with, and some people deserve. And see, some people think that cancel culture is just negative, bad. I don't think so. I think cancel culture can be good for the right kind of people. You know, if you're axe murderer, maybe you should be canceled. But but they're going overboard.
Yeah, I think with these comedians, these jokes, no. If you're on stage and you know you have a group, even no matter if it's black group or white audience or a black audience or a mixed audience, you're going to tell a joke that gets a laugh, and that's all you're there for. You know what I mean? If you don't get a laugh, then get off the stage. So I don't understand why people go back to a comedian's jokes back in the day, and then they get canceled for that. Now, like I said, if you hurting women and you're killing people, fine, fair game. But everything doesn't need to be a cancel. You know what I mean? I don't understand that. And let's not forget, it's really hard for black people to cancel black people. Because I remember when R. Kelly, that Surviving R. Kelly thing came out, that documentary, his music soared 600% on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes. People were literally want to raise money and get him out of jail. You know what I mean? So. And I think if you are going to cancel people, let it be fair. You know what I mean?
I totally agree. And you raised a really good point there. Blacks can't. It's hard for blacks to cancel other blacks. I'm gonna make a note here. I'm gonna get back to that in a second. But in terms of comedy, I think comedy is very difficult now to have on air because you have to make things funny. You kind of have to be on that edge.
You do.
Do you remember what's the last comedy film to ever come out maybe This Is the End or The End? Maybe that's the last one I know of.
With Rihanna and Jonah Hill and them. Yeah. I watched that movie. It wasn't my favorite, but I don't really watch comedy movies, but that probably was one of them. At least one of the good ones.
You don't see comedies anymore that just are blockbusters anymore. You just don't. I think part of it is because of what you see. And I think when you have David Chappelle doing his thing, and when you have, I think when his first thing came out, Sticks and Stones, where that went viral, is because he was just laying it up there. He was saying, hey, this is what it is. And it's like, it just went like crazy on that.
Yeah, he was just basically talking on stage. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't even trying to make jokes. He was just, just expressed himself, you know what I mean? Which only David Chappelle can do and make $50 million off of it. But yeah, I mean, you're right.
So in terms of you also mentioned that blacks canceling. I have to go back to the black conservatives a little bit because I was going to mention this before, but I didn't. I kind of got deviated. But in terms of black conservatives, one thing I think about black conservatives as it relates to cancel culture, I think one of the things that we have that other people don't have is the ability to be almost immune from the cancel culture, because what are they going to come at us with besides Coon, Uncle Tom?
Right. That's it. That's it. Literally, there's nothing else. I mean,
yeah.
They had Terry Crews. He came out, spoke a little bit. Of course, he got the same Uncle Tom Coon reaction. That's really all you can do when it comes to entertainment. Besides Bill Cosby, but when you get entertainment or movie stars, you don't see a lot of canceling of them. You really don't.
Yeah, it's part of that narrative that they just can't grasp on. Now, Bill Cosby, they had something on him, I guess, from his past and things he did before. But even when Bill Cosby has height back in the Cosby Show back in the day, and people who aren't alive then, when I was in college then, the Cosby Show, there was nothing bigger than the Cosby Show. Nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't come out my mom yet when the Cosby Show came out, but I watched very little of it. It was already old when I started watching it, but Yeah, even it was a big show when I was like 10. You know what I mean? I think it was already way past done with the show, but yeah, that show was great. Of course, we didn't know about what he was doing, but yeah.
Yeah, but even back then, he would do stuff with accountability. Like he didn't want Will Smith on his show, or he didn't want to acknowledge Will Smith because he thought Will Smith was being a buffoon. That he was being stereotypical and not behaving in a manner that black people should behave. So they kind of had a beef there. And if you look at like Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, he would talk about Bill Cosby in a way that was like he wouldn't cuss, Bill Cosby, all this stuff. And Bill
Yeah,
Cosby even said, yeah, he said, "Oh, fudge," whatever in the stand-up.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Phil Florin, fudge, whatever.
yeah.
Anyway, that was funny. But anyway, the point is, Bill Cosby made a statement back in the day where he said, "Look, black people need to be more accountable," and he got reamed, dude.
I saw that video. Yeah, and let me tell you something. You don't see a lot of that video going around, do you?
No, nor do you see anything about Barack Obama saying the same thing.
Yeah,
he said the same thing too early in his administration.
Right. That's and I promise you, that's what you don't see. That we got to go on YouTube and you really dive deep into some of the stuff that they're saying. You know what I mean? But it's easy to play the victim. You're getting treated bad mentality. It's really easy to do that. And when you do, you fall into belief that the suppression belief, you're getting treated bad. You know what I mean? No accountability for what you do. It's what people are doing to you, and that's it.
Okay, so now I want to talk about the movie Uncle Tom. Have you seen that film at all? Have you did you know about that was coming out, or did you get a chance to take a look at that?
I have not got a chance to look at that movie yet. I really want to. I'm really looking forward to watching it.
Yeah, it's a fantastic film. I recommend you seeing it. And if you see it, I'd like to talk to you about it. But essentially, it's a film. It's a collection of black conservatives like Candace Owens and Tatum, right. Brandon Tatum, and Jesse Lee Peterson and Thomas Sowell is not in it, but they talk about him a lot. Mm-hmm. Larry Elder, who actually mentioned us a couple times in one of his videos after the fact, because we did a movie review of it. And it talks about the experiences of black conservatives. And it's really, really interesting how they wove all the stories together and to make one big narrative. And it's just a wonderful film. And in that film, I mentioned about, in the review, I mentioned that people being called Uncle Tom is like, hopefully that will one day go away because of this film, because Uncle Tom was actually a good guy. Mm-hmm. And he comes from the book Uncle Tom's Cabin by Harriet Beecher Stowe. And he was actually a hero at the end of the film. So just in case people don't know this, people watch this for the first time. So what are your thoughts of filmmakers putting this kind of content out in front of people like Dinesh D'Souza, or this kind of stuff that can help elevate the consciousness of people?
Okay, my true thought on that, I think it's brave. I think it's good. I do not think it's going to change many people's minds. You know what I mean? I think those names are here to stay. It's to describe a black conservative, period. You know what I mean? Man, woman, it doesn't matter. Child, older person, I think that's here to stay for a while. I hate to say that, but I think that's true. You know what I mean? There's not enough movies like Uncle Tom out there. They're really not. You see 12 Years a Slave, you see The Help, you see those type of movies, but there's just not enough movies like Uncle Tom to actually change people's thought and to totally get rid of those words to describe a black conservative. That's just.
Yeah, that's probably fair. That's probably a fair statement there.
Yeah.
That's probably a fair statement because it's so entrenched in our society. So yeah, so what are your plans in terms of going forward in the conservative movement? Are you gonna just be engaged in social media? Are you gonna you have any other plans to do anything else?
Well, I just got an email from my city's South Carolina representative's office, and I want to kind of go out, maybe do some speeches because I have a little bit of an audience. You know what I mean? So I want to stretch out of social, of course, keep Parler, but trying to kind of stretch out of the social media, maybe do some YouTube videos more often than what I'm doing. Maybe probably help in my city in the GOP a little bit, because I live in a conservative state, so I just want to do more for it. You know what I mean? Get out of Parler a little bit.
That's awesome. I think you're a young guy and you have a bright future. I think anything you want to do, I mean, especially speaking engagements, and what you'll find out what happened is, this happened to me at a small level. Once you do one thing, more stuff comes on, man. it never stops.
I'm waiting for that.
You know what I mean? It won't really stop. And this video hits, you know, I don't have, this channel isn't huge as of yet, but we're growing, and you'll get a lot of exposure on this video. And do you have a YouTube channel now, or is it just?
No, I got one, Black Trumper. That's it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, cool. All right. So I'll put a link below here, and I want you to. Can you? Well, I'm not quite ready to do that yet, but when I come times that we'll have a link to your channel. Is your channel simply just a blog channel, or do you have other kind of content on there?
Right now, we're just kind of vlogging about issues like Nick Cannon. I put that one on there about Burnell Trammell. I made a video about that. So basically just what's in the news at the time, but I do kind of want to branch out of that and just do whatever on my mind. Sometimes I just want to just make a video and just post it on Parler and just leave it there for a couple of days or so. You know what I mean? So right now it's just hot topics space. Like Wendy Williams, she does hot topics. That's what I do.
Let me ask you this question. What's the biggest myth you think people have of Black conservatives that maybe you've heard about personally, or people have asked you directly?
Why are you conservative? That's probably number one. What made you a conservative? You know what I mean? I always think, I think behind every Democrat is a conservative. The reason I say it is because some people talk about while they're a Democrat and reasons, but they'll be literally explaining conservative to the T, like literally conservative ideas. I'm thinking, what are you talking about? Like, do you understand what you just said? That's what I think. I think behind them, not all, but most of the minds of Democrats, there's conservative thinking. You just don't want to say it because conservatives is considered bad or racist, or you know what I mean? I honestly think that. That's asking, why are you conservative for? You know, are you over? I'm like, yeah, and you probably are too. You just don't know it. You know?
Yeah, I have family members. If I say it right now, I get in trouble, so I won't say it. I'll tell you off camera.
Okay.
It's nothing bad, but I don't want to call anybody out, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, but you're talking to them, I'm like, dude, seriously, Trump said that last week.
That's exactly how it is. And
Ben Shapiro said that last month.
I don't want to change people's minds about what they are. That's fine. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
I do want to let you know, it's just, if you really just listen to what somebody else is saying, you don't have to agree, but you will get something out of it, learn something from it. You know what I mean? You don't got to vote for him, but you probably be surprised how much in common you're thinking it probably is from someone you never thought you would ever listen to. That's how it was with Trump for me. You know what I mean? I didn't know nothing about his politics, so I was listening to him. You know what I mean? That would maybe kind of gravitate.
I was telling to another guy, conservative guy who interviewed on this channel, he said basically it was just a small thing. His brother gave him one little nugget, and from there that nugget kind of grew, and he eventually, about 2 years later, he became a hardcore Trump supporter. Right. And he's like a hip hop guy, he's a music guy. He said, "I'm the last person that you consider to be a Trump supporter," and it's like it's just amazing. It's just amazing. So let me ask you this question. This is the last question I have for you. I asked this from all my people that I come on this program. Is what excites you the most right now, either in your life now or in the future, or what you have going on in general?
Just personally, my personal life.
Anything.
Nursing school. You know, I'm tired of being a nurse assistant. I'm trying to drop the assistant and just be a nurse. So I should start that sometime next year. So school, basically. I need my nursing degree.
That's awesome, man. So you're bettering yourself. You have goals.
I think I am. Sorry, I'm so sorry to be a racist nurse.
You want to better yourself.
Better your life. And go to school and get a college degree. Get a bachelor's in nursing, right?
You need to go back, and I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, you're 100%, man. Honestly.
I mean, that's basically what they tell you, man. Is that how dare you try and make yourself better? How dare you have aspirations? So, and that to me is my biggest pet peeve with Black people is like you speak a certain way, or you've never been in prison, or you wear your pants up to you wear a belt. I mean, come on. So
they want you to be just one kind. If you dare act different, then you're out of line. And that when all the names calling starts. You know what I mean? You have to play the role. That's basically what it is. You have to play the role.
So this is like the 5th video I've done, you've like the 3rd person to say that. This is not pre-scripted, right? And I also want to let people know that Black conservatives are not monolithic either. Just because you're Black conservative doesn't mean you're monolithic. We have conservative guy, he's a hip hop guy, he did the street thing. Myself, I'm never did the street thing. I tried to be. I was in suburbs from Maryland, but I faked it. I break dance. That counts. But you know what I'm saying? We're all different. We're all different. We have different experiences. We're all human beings. But it all comes down to the collectively we have an idea of America and what works for us, and it just fits. And conservatism just makes sense for us.
And that's okay. Like you don't have to. That doesn't mean I hate anybody. I don't hate Democrats. I don't hate the left. I don't hate nobody. You know what I mean? It just what I believe, my thought process. It doesn't change me as a person. It doesn't change what I eat. It doesn't change what I put on in the morning. It doesn't change nothing. It doesn't change my attitude towards you at all. Unless you show me unless you show me, but you're kind of the same person. You don't change. Your thinking changed politically, but you're still the same person. Yep. You don't change.
I mentioned that as well. And I think people judge us by the content of their own character. Because in their mind they think a certain way and they think we feel the same way they feel. No, not at all. We don't see things through the lens of color as much as some people do. And so we don't look at you as a bucket or a category. We look at you as an individual who can achieve whatever you want to achieve, especially in this country. So Dominique, with that, man, do you have anything else to
yes, thank you for reaching out to me. That's all. It's a huge thank you. Yeah.
I was just shocked by you're still getting, we've been talking for about an hour now. You probably already have about 7 or 8 followers in this past hour, maybe more than that. So I just,
it's weird because I think even from, I think when I woke up, I was at like 9,000. I think I'm at like 9.2.
Yep.
And I post like 2 posts, which is about the Attorney General hearing. That was it. And he was following me. Sometimes I'm thinking, why are y'all following me? Like, what? I don't even know why people follow me on that thing sometimes. I really think, like, what is it? Thank you, but why?
Because conservatives aren't racist, man. The majority of people on Parler right now are conservatives. Right. They're not racist. They want to encourage you, and they want to support you. That's basically what it is. And I found that out in my career. They want to support us. Right now, Black conservatives are the one group of people who can literally save this country, because we're immune from the cancel culture. We don't fit in the narrative. A lot of times we speak our minds. We scare the mess out of them, because
that's true.
Because they know, okay, so for you to be a Black conservative means you had to have done A, B, C, D, and E. And I'm not messing with that. I know you've gone through a thought process that I'm not going to mess with.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right. I think, I honestly think, also we have one of the most powerfulest voice ever. I honestly think we have a powerful voice. I just wish there were more people out and willing to speak. But I think there's so many people, I call them closeted conservatives, that just keep it into their self. You know what I mean? And I think they're voting it based off of that. I could just imagine how many people who think in a conservative way but actually vote that way too. You know what I mean? I think that would be really great. I just hope this, because time is ticking before this election, right?
Yeah. On YouTube, there's a big following coming up of Black conservatives coming up. I think there's a next generation. I think you're part of that, the second generation of young Black conservatives like Joe Patrick. He's probably in that first tier, but Brandon Tatum's blowing up. He's going nuts.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, and people like even that conservative guy, he's got 25,000 subscribers, and it's just, and he's just in his car doing videos, but he's speaking truth with music, and he's got his niche, he's got an audience that follow him, they're passionate, and it doesn't matter how you do a video. I'm a little bit more extravagant on the back end because I do like editing and stuff. I enjoy that, but you can just be in your bathroom with a camera doing this. If you have something to say, people are going to be all over it. Brandon Tatum, one of Brandon Tatum's biggest videos was him on the bed doing this with this camera, talking about interracial dating. It went like 100,000 views. You know, it's just on the bed with his cell phone. It's really, really fun to see it just happening. And I really thank you for doing what you do, Dominique. And I look forward to bringing you back on here as well. And especially after you see Uncle Tom, let's get back together and let's talk about that. And but let me know, tell the audience how they can find you on Parler, social media, however you want to be known.
YouTube, Black Trumper, Parler, Black Trumper. I'm not on Facebook or Twitter, so don't try to follow me there. It doesn't exist. So Black Trumper, Parler, and YouTube. That's it.
Okay, that's nice and clean. So I'll leave links there below. I'll probably put some titling as well below. Check out his stuff. Subscribe to his YouTube channel. I will be posting stuff on there. I'll subscribe to it. I didn't know you had one.
Right. It's like 7.
I'm sorry, but I thought you were just on Parler. But yeah, such a big following on Parler. I was like, okay, well, maybe it'll need on YouTube. So, so anyway, is there anything else you want to say before I let you go here? Or
follow me on YouTube and follow me on Parler. That's it. That's all.
That's good, man. That's good. That's good. That's awesome. All right. Well, I enjoyed this so much, Dominic. Thank you so much for allowing me to spend this time with you. And I know this was something we talked about, but I'm looking forward to doing it again. And hopefully more people will be encouraged by your story and by your walked away story as well to actually come out of the closet, so to speak, and let people know at some level. It doesn't have to be a YouTube channel. It doesn't have to be Parler or Twitter. It can just be just as much, hey guy, who you voting for this election cycle? Oh, you voting for this person? Well, let me tell you about my story. That's all it can be sometimes. Just let people know a little nugget. Maybe not for this time, maybe for 2024, 2028, who knows? But down the road, sometimes that nugget does play a big role in people's lives. So with that, everyone, that's going to be all I have for this. This is The Conservative Take. My name is Kyle. On behalf of Dominique, if you like this channel, what we do, we take politics of culture, TV, and movies, and filter it right. Please hit the like, subscribe button, and that bell icon so you don't miss any future content. And please check out walkedaway.net to support this channel and let the world know when you walked away. And with that, check out some content that we have right